Good night.
Tom Hanks has an important announcement to make.
I'm getting married.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, let's have a bachelor party!
Join in the fun Wednesday at 10:40.
We enter the nighttime zone in a couple of minutes, starting with the ITN News headlines, and then this week's gig guide for the arts in Entertainment UK, all coming up on Thames.
Something good has come together. The coolness of ice cream, the great taste of Mars. Mars ice cream snack. The cooler, lighter way to enjoy Mars.
How can CoverGirl's professional mascara make lashes so big and beautiful? The answer's in the curve from CoverGirl.
Tonight, may I recommend southern fried chicken from the Bird's Eye Steakhouse, made with our secret blend of herbs and spices.
You can almost smell the deep south.
Sorry, they have been marching for 8 weeks.
New southern fried chicken from the menu at the Bird's Eye Steakhouse.
Movies on Thames starring Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner. It started with a hunt for lost treasure.
I'm stealing this stone. I'm not trying to romance it out from under her.
And the torrid love story continued in the sequel.
The jewel of the night.
An action-packed double bill. The fun begins in Romancing the Stone, so dive in this Wednesday at 8 on Thames.
Good evening, welcome to another week on Nighttime, and sadly one that doesn't include a bank holiday. Entertainment UK is first, followed by Sport AM, and tonight Bob Simmons introduces what could be an explosive tennis match featuring not one but two McEnroes, and hopefully a couple of strong-willed umpires too. Tonight's film stars moonlighting Sybil Shepherd, who gets involved with a group of Vietnamese veterans planning a daring bank raid. That's special delivery at 2:35. And Randy Newman takes centre stage in the music special and is joined tonight by Linda Ronstadt and Ry Cooder. All that later. First, though, the news headlines.
Judith Ward has walked free from the Court of Appeal. She had been jailed for life in 1974 for IRA attacks, including the M62 coach bombing. The case collapsed when counsel for the Crown said they accepted her confession evidence was unreliable. She said she had waited 18 years, 3 months and 5 days for the moment. Billy Power, one of the Birmingham Six, was there.
About that it takes 18 years for anyone to be released from prison.
Shame.
Shame. But absolutely delighted that she's got her freedom today.
The Queen is at the centre of a row over her first ever speech to the European Parliament. Its contents have upset the Eurosceptics, and some MPs feel it's too political. The Queen's expected to tell Euro MPs in Strasbourg later today that differences of national parliamentary tradition are insignificant in the face of the European commitment to reconciliation and democracy. The Princess of Wales has started the official part of her 6-day visit to Egypt. She visited a centre for the blind with Mrs. Mubarak, wife of the Egyptian president. Earlier, she cooled off in the heat with an early morning dip at the British ambassador's residence in Cairo. That's it. More news later.
Okie dokie, time to get an insight into what's new in theatre, music and dance. The definitive What's On guide brought together in Entertainment UK.
And welcome to Entertainment UK, where we bring you all the happening hits on the art scene around the country this week. Tonight, there's something for everyone. We'll be kicking off with Basic Instinct, the film that's had gay protesters giving the plot away outside cinemas across the States.
You ever engage in any sadomasochistic activity?
Exactly what did you have in mind, Mr. Corelli?
And later on in the programme, we've got a profile of seriously hip crooner K.D. Lang. We chat to seriously strange man of the stage, Stephen Burkhoff, about his hobby, photography.
My mother used to say, "Is that woman still there?" He used to cry out, "Carry back, Penny, carry back, Penny."
And we nibble on caviar with seriously skinny Anthony Andrews, just back from filming in Siberia.
The simple answer is don't eat, but I mean, I wouldn't recommend that to anybody.
Dutch director Paul Verhoeven's first two movies, Total Recall and RoboCop, established both his bankability and his reputation. His third film, Basic Instinct, has never been out of the headlines because of its explicit sex scenes and also its $3 million script. It stars Michael Douglas as a cop who becomes involved with his prime suspect, a bisexual best-selling novelist played by Sharon Stone.
What's your new book about?
A detective. He falls for the wrong woman.
What happens?
She kills him. It's a psychological mystery. It's a love story. I'll be a very sort of odd love story. And it's kind of a tale about what happens when you dally in the darkness a little too much.
Would you tell us the nature of your relationship with Mr. Boz?
I had sex with him for about 1.5 years. I liked having sex with him. He wasn't afraid of experimenting.
I think that there is an element of violence in all of us. There's a sexuality in all of us. And we learn to sublimate it through society. But when you find a good story and a character that allows you to at least expose or express those areas, I enjoy it, and I think it can hopefully make for some good filmmaking.
You ever engage in any sadomasochistic activity?
Exactly what did you have in mind, Mr. Corelli? You have to go so far out on a limb to play Catherine. Because you must be ultimately as devious as you can be. I must seduce him with my mind. I must seduce him with my sexuality. I have to weave this web that he cannot pull himself out of.
You seem to know an awful lot about me.
You know an awful lot about me.
I don't know anything that's not police business.
You know I don't wear any underwear. Don't you, Nick?
Basic Instinct caused a storm in the US where gay activists disrupted this year's Oscar ceremony in protest at the film's portrayal of its bisexual characters.
We had a big problem here in the United States with the gay community because they didn't look at the movie. The movie was not yet made. They started to read the script. They had a wrong interpretation. In Europe, we'll have a different situation. People have not been reading the script. The only thing they will see is the movie.
What happened? Did you get sucked into it? Did you like it too much?
I don't know what you're talking about.
There is no such thing as an uncontroversial Paul Verhoeven film. That's what he lives by. He's a very good stylist. He's a very controversial character. As for being anti-gay, that's completely ridiculous.
That's the point, wasn't it? That's what made it so good.
He thinks that Hollywood is a very conventional place, and he's come there to overturn those conventions. And, you know, 3 out of 3 huge hits is something they can't deny. So Hollywood's in a quandary. They find him very dangerous, but at the same time so successful that they can't stop him.
She knew what was going on. I think you got too close to the
flame. The first few scenes of Sharon Stone, I thought she was going to drag out the languid, sexy woman. I thought, oh, this can't go on forever. But you do become hypnotized by her. And I liked her a lot, which is a bit worrying. I think it's the best thriller I've seen in years. She's a sexy film. If you want a good night after, go and see Basic Instinct.
She knows where I live and breathe. She's coming after me, Gus.
She's been described by some as neither a country and western singer nor a pop artist. But KD, or Kathy Dawn Lang, is set to increase her fan base with her new, more pop-sensitive album, which sees her heading in a new direction. Canadian-born Lang has long been a thorn in the side of country and western purists. Her androgynous looks and ever-changing style has bought her loyalty from fans, but a snub by the country and western radio stations.
I certainly was accepted in the fact that Torch and Twang was the biggest selling female country record in the States at that time. But the fact that we never got airplay ever is a paradox in itself, which in retrospect I'm very satisfied with, because at the same time of being successful, I managed to retain a very alternative edge, which is very difficult to do.
Oh boy, is my game, B&O's my middle name. I'm gonna that whistle wails, and that's why I'm riding the rail.
Country music is very, very conservative, and a woman who comes along with a performance art background and who spells her name in lowercase, K.D. Lang, is not going to appeal greatly to country music purists. They like a much more straight-ahead approach. That sort of twinkle in her eye, that sort of irony, all that cross-dressing, this is not going to appeal to the Nashville establishment, and it didn't.
Her new album, Ingenue, is a diversion from any of the Grammy Award winners' preceding work. Country music has taken a back seat.
It is a transition period for me. It is a step forward, but I don't think it's that much of a difference for me, because my early influences were people like Peggy Lee and Ella and classical and jazz. And country was this newfound love that I had to, completely immerse myself.
Record Ingenue, you can hear her drawing much more widely on sort of world musical sources as well. There are a lot of different ethnic musics from around the world, very subtly blended in the background of a lot of the tracks.
Another new direction for the singer-songwriter was her acting debut in Percy Adland's Salmonberries, where she plays an orphan who becomes obsessed with a German widow.
Look around yourself, it's gone. The tower and the wires and the mines, the wall, it's gone.
She's been very widely praised by Madonna in the States, and I think her attitude to films is probably not dissimilar to Madonna's. It's a useful line, it's a useful sideline to have on the go. I don't think she probably has any plans to become a movie star.
So while films and other musical styles may preoccupy more of her time, where does country music now stand for KD?
I want people to know that country music's a big part of my musical makeup, but it's not the only thing I'm interested in.
And now we join Mark Chase for a bike ride around Norwich with the man who brought you Harry Enfield's Loads of Money.
In this introductory lesson, we'll be learning some simple words to acquaint ourselves with the language. First, tree. Tree. Now, let's try it again. Tree.
Tree.
Nearly. Tree.
Tree.
Charles Hickson moved into writing scripts for Harry Enfield after a varied career as decorator, viz cartoonist and singer with Norwich band The Hicksons. he's written his first novel, The King of the Ants, a book which heavily features the delights of cycling and pubs. So we decided to go on a pub crawl round Norwich.
Well, there's no pubs in here. There are hundreds of pubs in Norwich.
It used to be the case that they had one for every day of the year, was that true?
Supposedly, yeah. I mean, sometimes I feel like I drank in all of them, but...
First stop is old local, the Plasterers. You had a band after you left university, and then ended up skipping from that into script writing. That's quite a quantum leap, isn't it?
Well, none of it was ever planned. It was just sort of, things came up and that's what I did. I mean, actually between the two, that's when I was working as a decorator, because I'd had enough of the band and was finding that I could make money painting, so I did that. It's like everything else, I just knew the right people was in the right place at the right time. Harry was a friend, he was starting to do stand-up stuff. And started writing for him, and that was it, really.
The Loads of Money character, was that based upon somebody that you'd met then?
No, I mean, the actual Loads of Money phrase came from a Geordie friend of ours, where Southern football fans used to taunt me all the ones with wads of fiver saying, look at that, eh, loads of money, you've never seen that before.
No, that's a lamppost. All right, it's a bloody tree then.
It's Shipston Road, where I used to live.
So when was the last time you came back here?
God, it must be at least 5 years ago.
And they probably still haven't changed the sheets, have they?
Yeah, I think that probably the neighbours are glad they've seen the last of us. Noisy students living next door, that's it, over there, the one with the blue... With the blue drain pipe? Yeah.
You loved it so much you drove straight past?
Yeah, well...
After being barred from the Plasterers, Charles switched allegiance to the Mitre.
It's not that difficult, all you got to do is lean your back against... Excused himself and went for a piss. There was a bloke in the toilet, younger than Sean, in a white tuxedo and crisp Italian jeans. Whoa, there goes all my money, said the boy. Lovely, lovely money, down the drain, tinkle, tinkle. Plenty more where that came from, eh, said Sean. Plenty more, loads and loads of lovely money, and I shall be drunk forever, forever and ever. Sean did up his flies, walked over to the boy, hooked his foot around his shin and pulled away his support. Still pissing, the bloke yelled and slipped down into the gutter. Whoops-a-daisy, said Sean. You want to watch yourself. He washed his hands, checked himself in the mirror and went back to Matthews. Feel better for that, Matthews asked. Much.
So is that based on personal experience?
It's based on something I've always wanted to do.
What made you want to write the book?
God, that's a tough one to start on. What made me want to... I don't know, I mean, I just wrote it, really. No, I wrote it because it is actually about, I think, about the 6th novel I've written. The stuff I'd written before was very sort of arty, student experimental type stuff. And I found that I was actually reading straightforward American thrillers, so I thought I'd try and write something like that, except based in England, and obviously based on my experiences and very much set where I was living and sort of people that I knew at the time.
What are you looking at? No, please, stop that.
So aside from television and writing books, you got any other projects?
Well, I'm afraid, yes, I've actually written a film.
So have you got any other projects in the pipeline?
You just asked me that.
You got any plans to move into movies? Soul sensations Diana Brown and Barry K. Sharp are back on the scene with a brand new band, the Sons of Judah, a groove-laden LP, and presumably some rather natty clothing.
Let's join hands together, the black, the white, the yellow and the brown. Let's join hands together, the black, the white, the yellow and the brown.
What we're truly trying to aim for is a 90s version of JB's, Find a Family Stone, that sort of general 70s feel. But not sounding like them, you know, we still got our own sound. But the way they set it up was right, that's that big sound, that big production, you know, horns, keyboards, guitars going all over the place.
Barry has also established himself in the fashion world with his Soho shop, Duffer of St. George.
Being a designer as well helps with the press side of it. Music world don't always take me seriously. Think, oh yeah, another designer, doing a bit of music, bit of press, bit of hype. But it's actually much more than that. And if you want to, if you hear the album, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Well, we sing about love and peace and unity, basically, and, well, that's it, isn't it, really?
Oneness. That's the peace sign, oneness.
One world, one race, one creed and one colour, 'cause I believe, yeah, we should love one another.
Stick around. After the break, we'll be bringing you news from new LA flick Grand Canyon, starring Steve Martin and Kevin Kline, and music from the fabulously funky Ronnie Jordan. Here's a taster.
I got a tale that's never been told. Get to grips and handle your soul. I got a tale that's never been told. Get to grips and handle your soul. I got a tale that's never been, never been, never been, never been, never been, never been told.
Look what hard water does. It dries and leaves watermarks and dull surfaces. And it builds up into line scale.
But now you can brighten up your home with new Viakal.
Viakal?
Yes, Viakal. It is a remarkable name, but then it works in a remarkable way. Fizzing into action to fizz away line scale.
It tackles the taps, and it makes stainless steel stainless again. In fact, Viakal fizzes back the brightness every time you use it.
It's the Viakal fizz that does the biz.
You daft.
Ryvita, high in fibre and only 25 calories per slice. Zip into shape with Ryvita for the perfect fit.
Oh, happy day. Poof. Listerine is clinically proven to work against plaque. Listerine twice a day helps take breath away and keep plaque at bay.
Put Persil in your machine and dial. A birthday suit, white. Towels, bright. A home team, clean. With Persil in your machine, you get your sweatshirt bright. Cyclists, right. A hold me tight. So in your machine you dial 7 dwarfs, bright. 5 piggies, white. Flying colours, clean. Pour Persil in your machine and get a stocking, shocking. Flowers, fresh. A spring, clean. Choose Persil and get the whole wash right.
Now the man they called the sheriff was bad beyond belief, mean as a rattlesnake, a low-down dirty thief. So the town called for help, and along came
me, Nestlé Milkybar Kid.
The Milkybar Kid is strong and tough, and only the best is good enough. The creamiest milk, the whitest bar, the good taste that's in Milkybar.
The Milkybar, they're on me.
Milkybar so creamy white, Nestlé Milkybar.
Max Factor International creates impact with the bold new, rich new, high-definition lipstick. It fills your lips with high-density color for full color impact. New high-definition lipstick from Max Factor International. Impact by Max Factor.
Did you know I'm the hottest thing in town? Oh, no, you're not. This is...
The new singer from Kentucky Fried Chicken. A whole breast fillet of chicken with a crispy coating and a hot and spicy taste.
But nothing's hotter than me.
The new singer from Kentucky Fried Chicken.
It's hot.
Welcome back. Ironically appearing just weeks after the disturbing events in LA, Grand Canyon takes a sideways look at the weird world of Tinseltown.
You ever been to the Grand Canyon?
when you sit on the edge of that thing, you just realize what a joke we people are.
What I like in a film is if you give a toss about them, and I didn't care less what happened to any of them.
I thought this was the biggest load of pretentious twaddle I've seen in a long time.
Bit boring.
What is Steve Martin doing in the film?
Now, Steve Martin's bits, but his bits are funny.
What is the theory on this handkerchief thing? I mean, after you blow your nose in it, you put it back in your pocket, and then you see someone in distress, and you, like, give them this gift from your pocket, and they're supposed to be grateful that they wipe it all over their face?
It's a film about nuances, and there's so much humor in that, you know. There's so much humor in moments that are honest. They're honest moments, you know.
It's trying to make LA the microcosm, and it... I've got a headache now.
Yeah, so you upset him now because you've asked him about the microcosm of LA.
She's beautiful, isn't she?
What's the story?
I found her. I was jogging and I heard this crying and I looked under the bushes.
Wait. Where was this?
And Carmelina just around the corner, so I looked under the bushes and there she was.
When was this?
This morning.
This morning? What time?
Around 9:30, I guess.
What did the police say?
Hmm?
My guess is the police did not say. Hmm?
It's about what's happening right now in our country, in our society.
It's kind of relevant to what happened, you know, in LA with the riot and everything. And I think the police chiefs and the rest of, you know, the attorneys at law over there can go see the film and think, damn, why didn't we do that? Then there wouldn't be all this trouble.
Why don't you get out of the car, mister? Oh, what you so nervous about, man?
No, there's nothing that redeems this film at all from the cesspit of stuff that it is. I've got a headache again.
He's got a headache.
My head pounding in syncopation to my throbbing wound, there came a glorious, delicate dawn. And I knew I can't make those movies anymore. I can't make another piece of art that glorifies